Welcome back to Kansas City Real Talk, brought to you by KCRAR. Bobby and I are here with Steve Woolridge, who is the chief instructor at the Steve Woolridge Krav Maga and Fitness Center in Lenexa, Kansas. Steve, we're really excited to have you with us today. How are you?
Good to see you guys. I'm excited too. It's been a little bit. I haven't seen you guys in a while.
It has been a while. You've done some great classes for us in the past, focus on realtor safety and focus on self-defense. So it's kind of fun to have you in a bit of a different medium here talking about it in this way.
Absolutely. It is a little bit different. And I think this, in this particular format too, we can discuss more of the procedures and as far as planning. And then I can give people, I can give you a lot of more mental preparation rather than just the physical. I'm known as, I'm a subject matter expert. When things go south, people talk to me about what to do physically. There's so much that can be done and needs to be done mentally that could preempt a lot of the physical things. So maybe this will give us a chance to go through that as well. So it's not just, you don't have to be a fighter or great athlete or whatever kind of shape you're in, to start planning and using a lot of the tools that we have.
So Steve, September's Realtor Safety Month. So that's one of the reasons why we wanted to bring you on the podcast today. Are there any safety protocols that you would recommend for realtors while they're on the job?
Quite a few. Where would you like me to start?
At number one.
Okay.
Anywhere.
I would say, I was thinking about this earlier today, and I've talked about this a lot, and I've met with realtors from all over Kansas City and around the surrounding areas. I've met with people all over the country, really. But probably one of the biggest things that I preach to everyone that you need zero physical ability to do is awareness. Now, if you want to talk about awareness, now here's where most people get me wrong or get self-defense wrong or get the planning and preparation wrong with this, or maybe not say wrong, let's say that it could be a lot more efficient, is this. What most people will do when they start to worry, for example, I had Corey come in from Weichert Realty a couple years ago when we really started in doing this and helping a lot of people for the gal that was that got killed down in Arkansas.
Beverly Carter.
And we started with those things. And the first thing that I told everybody is this: look, I don't want you to be paranoid. And people go, okay, yeah, don't be paranoid, this and that. Well, here's the main reason. And we're going to look at, and you can look at this from the side of neuroscience and not just fighting and what we do daily is you get what you focus on. And if I have people every day that are in fear, and I see this every day because I've worked with so many different groups, especially a lot of women's groups where someone was attacked. If you continue, we talk about PTSD, those things like that. If you continue to focus on those things, that's what you get more of. So rather than walking out every day and going, oh, I don't want to be attacked. Oh, I don't want to be attacked. I got to be wary. I got to be this. I got to be that. No, because where's your mind then? On all the bad things that could happen throughout your day. So a much better use of your time would be to do this. What's my outcome for the day? And I go, okay, here's what I want to do. I have 5 people on, let's say, on the slate to show houses to or property to. I want to meet with some nice people. I want to have, let's say, good weather. I want to have a good showing. I want everything to be clean. I want everything to go well. I want us to have a nice conversation. I want it to end well. And now where my mind goes is focused on those things rather than all the bad things that could happen in my day. So one, it allows you to do your job, one specifically, but two, if you watch people and you can see someone, and I've seen this millions of times, but you can see it in people that if you've been ever afraid for your life, and you can see where their focus goes. It's like a pinhole, like an old school TV when you would turn it off and it would go to a dot, okay? That's where your focus goes. And there are lots of people, I train lots of surgeons, pararescue, as far as military, special forces guys, paramedics, EMTs, firefighters, that as things get more intense, they become more focused. Now, one of the things that allows them to really not, they're still afraid, but they're able to do their job. They're able to operate. And that's what sets those people apart. It's not magical, and they're great people at what they do. But a lot of what it is that they're doing is they're so focused on doing their job or a particular task, they don't have time to be afraid. So when we look at people going out to show, and no matter what's going on, it could be in a bad area, it could be in different areas, maybe things have been happening. If I'm more focused on what I'm trying to do in my day, one, it makes me calmer. When I'm calmer, I make better decisions. I'm more focused. I can tell when things are a little bit off. And I know what might be a little weird in the environment. If I'm constantly focused on, and I have my little blinders on of worry, anger and fear, especially the fear, you don't think clearly. So there could be false triggers, anything could happen. So, and you could see people go, well, that's not a big deal of your outcome. I go, it's everything. Yeah. Think about if I have my guys that go in to fight and they're worried about losing. Yeah. What do you think is going to happen?
They're going to lose.
I'm like, you might as well not even go.
Right.
And just because you are confident doesn't mean you'll always win. However, look at selling a house. When you go out and you go, I'm going to sell 2 houses today. And they're like, how do you know? I just know. I have a feeling. Even if I don't, I go, I felt good. Things will happen. I met good people. I got referrals, X, Y, Z. So number one, awareness, but awareness by focusing on your outcome for that day and be an outcome of, hey, I'd love to be safe. I want to go home and see my family. I want to work with good people, and I want to deliver them a high quality service and throughout my day. And then your focus goes to that. So that, I would say that would be number one.
I love what you're saying, Steve, because I'm a big fan of ninja sales training. And so ninja is, but not self-defense, to be clear. Something different. Right. But one of the big things that we focus on in there is what you focus on expands. And exactly what you've been saying, if you're focusing on the negative, if you're focusing on what all could go wrong, all of that's what you're going to see. That's what's going to expand. And ultimately, those things that you're talking about that might stick out as some red flags aren't going to stick out because you're convinced that everything is out to get you. So what you're saying makes perfect sense. And it's applicable. You nailed it. It's applicable even when you're going about your everyday business in general. Focus on the positive. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, even we're talking home with your kids to going to the store to being at work to whatever you want to do to your workout. So yeah, whatever you want to do in your life. So yeah, that's where that would be the best place to start. Yeah.
Okay. What after awareness?
I would say the next thing would be some type of physical preparation. And this is where people go decide to, for what we do. And I'm a former special operations guy in the military. I train a lot of people like that, law enforcement, fighters, and people go, well, I'm not going to be you. And I go, I don't want you to be me. Like, you don't need to be me. You probably wouldn't like it. You wouldn't like all the injuries and all the other crap that goes on, but do some type of physical exercise, whether it's going out and walking your dog. I mean, people go, well, that's not much. Well, the more exercise I have, it's that much more. I mean, we deal with seconds. When we have a self-defense encounter and anything goes on, you deal with seconds of what's going on. Why would you not want the most competitive edge that you could possibly have? Is just, one, is being in shape, but you can think of all the side benefits for that. But certainly I know for me, I always joke with my guys that we train people that know us. They go, you guys are nuts. But we love to physically train. We love to push ourselves to see how far we can go. And I always joke that I go, worst case scenario, your attacker will be exhausted and you'll be standing there going, okay, well, I'm going to leave. you look tired. So but to me, that's something I can control. So in conjunction with what we do as far as preparation, can you control what happens on the planet? No. Can you control what other people will do throughout your day? I know everybody tries, but you cannot. There's no way to control other people. So we take care of the things that we can control. And I go back and I use my analogy for my guys that fight. Oh my goodness, I brutalize them, but when they finish a fight, they could go fight again. That's something they can control. And certainly it's an extreme there, but take care of the things you can control, that you can do for yourself, that no one else can take away from you. It's empowering. But two, there's so many side benefits to any type of exercise, even if it's just going out and walking your dog every day, walking around the block. I know, I love the fact that during all this stuff going on with the COVID, as I saw so many people outside actually exercising, and a lot of people were griping because they would even go to like a Walmart and all the exercise equipment's gone, and I'm doing this. Yeah, because then I know people are working out. To me, that's what I preach this 24/7. And it's funny, it took a pandemic to get people to go, I got all this downtime, I should probably exercise. And well, yeah, but these are things that we can do. It doesn't need to be anything crazy, but going out and doing something. Yeah.
You know that there are plenty of those people that just thought to themselves, I probably better get in shape. And then they went to Walmart and bought the equipment and maybe touch it during quarantine. I'm just saying. And
now they're selling it. No.
I might be projecting.
In about 2 years, there'll be all kinds of exercise equipment for sale. Yeah.
That's right. Facebook Marketplace will be inundated with
yes.
That's all the people that ran out and bought those Pelotons. I'm not making fun of them because I have a Peloton myself, but I've had it for 3 years, so it's fine. But Steve, it's interesting you say that. My mom was also a realtor, and she was into bodybuilding. She actually was Miss Missouri in bodybuilding many years ago, back in the day. Now, bodybuilding isn't my jam. Running and marathons, that's my jam. But for both of us, not only was it the physical benefits, it's all those side benefits. And for me, it's mental clarity. It's freeing my mind. Like, I hate running. I don't like to go out and do it. And yet what I reap from going and doing it is so much more. And just, you're absolutely right. If you're sitting on the couch eating potato chips all day, going and taking a walk with your dog around the block, that's going to get the blood flowing. It's going to cause all these, a ripple of effects to happen in your body. That's not just, I went for a walk around the block. And like you, I've been in my neighborhood for 5 years now, and I've never seen more neighbors than I've seen in the last few months. And I absolutely love it. It's like, keep getting out there, do what you need to do for yourself.
Yeah. Go out, have exercise. You know, what's funny is I have a lot of people that, now we have kids too. And to have that exercise time. Now I do it a lot of times, we'll do with the kids. They even come up to the gym and run like banshees and do stuff here. But if you go out, let's say you go run, let's say you go do 6 miles or something like that, that's your time. Yep. It's free time, really, alone time. So it's nice to have and let the thoughts run, try and get a little flow state or even a bike or whatever you want to do. But yeah, the definitely the second component would be some type of exercise. Yeah, absolutely.
You said it, it's me time. It's investing in yourself. And so often we invest in everyone and everything around us, and we don't take the time to invest in ourselves. And when we invest in ourselves, that's a way of protecting ourselves, because we realize the value that we have, the value that we are. And I think too often we don't realize how valuable we are.
Oh yeah. And with that, I'm setting I know for my little boy is that it's a role model.
Yep.
I'm being a role model for him. I go, how could I tell him to do things if I don't do it?
Yeah.
I go, you better walk the walk. So we do. Yeah.
You give him motivational speeches like Bobby gives to her 7-year-old. We had a whole long bit before you came on.
Oh yeah.
The audience gets it. The audience gets it.
We coach our children. That's what we have to do. That's when we coach other people and coach adults, we're coaching our children just as we would coach ourselves.
I'm with you.
Influence. Yes. Influence. Constantly. Yeah. But then you got to realize too, as you're saying it, you go, I better be doing that. I better be
That's right.
doing that. Yeah. Yeah. Cause they know.
Oh yeah. So this has nothing to do with this, but my son is 7 and he'd been home since March. And so we had let some language slip here in the house and we'd been a little lax on his particular language. And so now that he's back in school, we've had to work like you can't say that at school. And the other day he's like, but you guys are still saying it. Why can't I say it? And I'm like, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Call you out on it. Yep.
Everyone's working on their language in my house. It's fine. So Steve, is there anything you think the common agent might be doing wrong in their daily going about that they could easily correct?
Yes. One of the things I talked about when I did the seminar that was last year, we talked about all the things that do this and this is something that I'm going to plug a book. I have nothing to do with it. I don't have any monies from it, but there's a guy by the name of James Clear that wrote a book in, I think it was published in 2018. It's not very old. It's called Atomic Habits. And it's anything about improving anything that you want to do. It's a tremendous book. I found myself highlighting I got tired of highlighting because I was just highlighting most of the book. And I thought, this is tremendous. But it was talking about how we build habits and the things that we want to do. So, the first thing that he talks about when you do habits or when you're looking at your own habits, and most of the time we have no idea that we're even doing them. There are a lot of things that you're so involved, how you brush your teeth, how you tie your shoes. It's so, and it's a good function of your brain because your brain is trying to process everything to make it as efficient as possible. So you have room to do other things. That's its job. However, what gets us in trouble is that when that habit is maybe not necessarily a good one, or it puts us in a precarious position at times. So one of the things that he has people do is go through from the time you get up throughout your day and write down every habit that you have. So what I would have, and I talked to the guys about this, that were the realtors last year about this, was think about an average day when you're going to go show a house and tell me exactly what you do. And they go, well, I show up and I do the thing. I go, no. You don't just show up at the door and there's somebody standing there magically ready. You had you had a phone call, you had an email, you had a text, there were a referral, there's somebody that's a cold call. It's something like that to where somebody's contacted you. You can find out information about them, where they're going to go, what you're going to do. So there is a tremendous amount of information that you already know before you even walk out the door. So take a look at your habits of how you plan things. Does some simple things is plan out your trip. How are you going to drive there? Which way are you going to drive? How are you going to get there? What time are you going? What time are you planning on leaving? What time are you starting? Is there anything else during that day that you need to take care of before that time or after that time that's going to take your mind away from what you're doing? What do you know about this person? What do you know about the property? Have you been to the property before? Have you just seen it online? So there's so much information. People go, oh, I don't want to be inundated with all that. I just want to sell. You'll sell better the more information you have. And when I know where I'm going, let's say the area is not as great, or I know it's at the end of a cul-de-sac, or I know it's in a more, maybe a little more rural area where there aren't as many houses around, or it's in a new area where they're building a lot of new homes and there just aren't a lot of people around. What if it's at 10 o'clock in the morning? How many people are out? You think about all the people that are already at work. Right now it's a little bit different because you got a lot of people that are working from home, but otherwise before, when you do, how many people were out and about at 10 o'clock in the morning? You have a lot of families that might have both husband and wife working, the kids are in school. So these are all things that you can take a look at and know way beforehand what to do. Now, it may seem like a lot in the beginning. It's like, oh, I'm being overwhelmed with extra info I don't need. Well, if you do it once, then it's like a boilerplate and you can apply it to every time you go show something, you know what your routine is and you know the pattern. Now, the other thing I would add one there, and I told people this last year especially, is and if you're and not to pick on the gals, but I tell the gals to do it even more, is does someone know where you are? I don't care if you text them and go, hey, I'm showing a house, and you can, we have so much technology right now that there's no excuse not to get information to somebody, whether it's back to, I know Corey was working on something you guys would have with work that's like an intranet to where everybody in the office knew where you were or what was going on, or at least texting a friend, an accountability partner that you might have, another realtor. That's a good thing to have. And you go, hey, I'm showing a house at 159th and Metcalf. I'll be there. The scheduled start time is 10:45. That's it. I mean, I don't need to go into this, hey, look out for me. Oh, this, that, and the other is, here's where I am. And it's a start where that's so much better than, hey, do you know where Susie is? I don't know. I think she was going to show a house today or whatever, but that's something that is so simple that we can do to track. And it's part of the whole habit routine of, and once you get into the habit of doing this, or let's call it a routine rather than just a habit, is I'm going to plan out my day. I know where I'm going to go. I'm going to text someone where I am. I just send them a link or just some type of response to it. And that's how I run my day. And if you get into the habit of doing that, or a routine of doing that, it's not a big deal after a while. It's just what you do. It's who you are then. So that to me that's super important. So if they want a good format to do that in too, is look at that book. That lays it out, or anyway, just to design your day, a planner, do something like that. That's a great start.
That's great, Steve. Kind of one last question.
Sure.
We have a lot of conversation frequently about different self-defense devices to carry with us. Is that something that you recommend or promote? Is there anything that is it important that we do carry things like that with us? What are your thoughts?
Yes and no. And I'm not a vague person at all. I'd say this, that I tell people this daily, is I have a lot of my students, and we teach this as well. We have what we call an integrated Krav Maga plus concealed carry, or carry, where we actually teach people to fight with a firearm. It's a 12-hour course. It's over a period of 3 months. It's extremely intensive. It's everything from locked up in your box at your house to being able to fight with it, weapon retention, on the ground, counter carjack, live fire where people are moving and doing things. It's extremely intensive. And I still tell them, I go, look, if you're going to carry a weapon, I go, and I call them amateurs. If you're not a military or law enforcement, you're an amateur carrying a weapon, is one, you better train with it every day. Do something with it every day. You have to know what to do. You have to know all the limitations of the implement, and understand this: if you use it, there's probably going to be lawsuits, and no matter what it is, whether it's spray, whether it's a taser, whether it's a firearm, whether it's a knife. And I tell them, look, I go, most people have it used on them. I'll give you a quick story, and here's what I think about. And I hate to have people not carry it just because of what I'm saying. I go, it's up to you, but understand the limitations of what you're doing. Is I had a friend of mine here that has a law firm in town, and trained with me, did a lot of private training with me. And he trained his daughter, who was at the time was in her early 20s, and trained in some self-defense. She carried a taser, okay, and spray, and knew how to use it. And I mean, like, could, do specific things and fight with it. Well, she lived down in the Crossroads area. And this was when, if you guys remember back a couple years back, when they had the guy that was the Waldo rapist that was running around. They think it might have been this guy. Well, she's out. It's late at night. She has AirPods in, or her earphones in, and she's walking a big German Shepherd mix. Okay, it's a big dog. She has a spray and she has a taser with her in her bag. She's walking, the dog stops and she pulls the dog along. She's walking some more and the dog stops and turns around. She turns around and the guy hits her, punches her dead in the face and drops her. Okay. Luckily, the dog jumps up and started attacking the guy. From the descriptions, it kind of looked like the guy that was attacking people that they later arrested. And I tell people, I go, here's someone that was trained, one, self-defense, doing stuff, had stuff with her, knew how to use it, had a dog, a big dog, probably an 80-pound dog with her, and the guy still attacked her. I go, what does that tell you about his mindset? He didn't care. You can still run into that. So if you have something, I would say to train with it, have it handy. Don't have it locked up in your trunk of your car or at the bottom. Maybe ladies, I always joke, I go, don't put it at the bottom of your purse. You'll never find it. But if you're going to carry it, learn how to use it. We teach people to use stuff like that all the time. Know all the limitations of it if you want. Okay. Understand that when you do that, you can also have it used against you, like physically used against you. So be aware of all those things. So, but that's one of the biggest things.
It's such an important and down-to-earth perspective on this, and it's one that I don't feel like we hear very often. It's either, you got to carry or you shouldn't carry. And, I wish that people would think about it more in terms of, do you know what you're doing? Are you going to be able to use it? Is it actually a hazard to you more than it is a help? Are you really going to work with it? I mean, it's just like everything else in our world. It's like super polarized and there's nothing in between. And what you just said makes so much sense. Yeah.
And we tell people to go, look, just because you have a firearm, and a lot of my guys carry, I go, it's not a magic talisman. No. It's not magic dust. It's not going to operate by itself. So just be aware, get some training with it and get good training. Not just YouTube videos of somebody that thinks they're an expert. And I would tell people this, tell them to call me. They could call me, email me. My guys still do this. They go, Steve, I saw something on the internet. What do you think? And I go, show it to me. I know within 2 seconds, if I do this, I go, don't know. I go, come train with me. I'll show you, but at least I can direct you, or I might do this. Yeah, it's a good person to train with, or know what it is. I mean, because we deal with this every day. I see it every day. So
sure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today, Steve. This was
You're
awesome.
welcome.
I think we'll probably have to have you on again because I feel like there's a lot of things we never even made it to discussing today. So when we get to Realtor Fitness Month, there isn't one, we'll make one. When we get to that, we'll bring you back around.
Awesome. That would be excellent. I'll look forward to it. It'll be great.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Steve.
You got it. All right, guys. Good seeing you, and I will see you soon.
Take care.